Hey, I'm NoxLumens, and today I'm going to be doing Amaterasu from Offset's Proving Grounds Practice Labs. Doing this as a part of TJ Null's OSCP practice, so this is all for the Pin 200. And we will start off by creating our directory inside of Obsidian. This one is Amaterasu. Amaterasu. I think that's how it's spelled. Don't make any note. Cool. And I like to create a folder for my images, just in case. That's my IP for the box today, and we'll start off with our NMAP. So not over there, not in that window. There we go. NMAP, we'll start off with a tag SC. Nah, let's do just -p dash. So for all ports, and then our IP. To start off with, I am going to let this run, and then I'll see you in a second. Excellent. So that took an exuberant amount of time, huge amount of time. So now we can kind of move on. We can start off our new NMAP scan. We're going to do default scripts, enumerate versions. We're going to say port 21, 25, 0, 22, 33, 414, 40080 on our IP. Ooh, and I need to output that actually. Documents, Proving Grounds, Amaterasu. Output the NMAP format to a file called nmap.md. That way, whenever it starts running, I'll end up being able to see the output over here inside of Obsidian. The .md file is important. That way it appears over here. Anyway, I'll pause again and see you in a second. Excellent. So now we have our output, and we can kind of clean it up a little bit to make it a little bit easier to see everything. I like to separate stuff by my ports. Let's grab this real fast. All the way down to here, holding shift, and then 3 backticks allows us to form it into a code block. And then I like to just use Python because it makes it colorful. And now I can kind of separate these, open things up a little bit. 21, 2502, 33, 40, 414, and 4000. And then we can delete the rest of this. I'm not super interested in the rest of that output. Now let's take a look at it. Anonymous FTP is allowed, so let's go ahead and give that a shot. FTP anonymous at our IP with password of anonymous. Nothing, enters bypass mode. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, just enters passive mode. Okay. Select out of that. We can see, so 25022 is SSH. Open SSH. 33414 is works like in Python. If debug were enabled, we might be able to like exploit that way. Let's do this though. Let's barracksbuster with a URL, with our URL, HTTP 192.168.152.249, the port of 33414. Word list of user share, word list, sec list, discovery, web content, directory. I'm going to use a smaller list. Do I have a smaller list? Yeah, I don't know if small will be fine, but I'm going to use it anyway. Web content directory list 2.3 small.txt with 50 threads. And while that's running, let's check this other thing out. Apache 2453, Fedora. You can go look at it. 40080. 40080. Mozilla is cool, and that's it. Yeah. And then HTTP. What was the port again? 33414. URL not found. Let's hope that this gives us some output. I'm gonna let it run. Oh, actually, we have to. Help and info. I'm gonna duplicate the tab a couple of times. I'm gonna go check these out. That's the help. We can list out files. We can list out directories. Temp directory. We can check out the root. Okay, so let's go into home. And we'll start making our way through there. Home. Alfredo. SSH. We've got keys. If we try to read them, ID underscore RSA, we get an internal server error. Okay. And it looks like we can upload files. If we can reach this directory, we can upload our own key. We also have a user though, so let's do something else. I'm gonna stop this. Let's move Ferox. Yeah. Okay. So we have our Alfredo user. So we're gonna try out a few things. Do -h before we run this. NESR. Okay, so this is just a quick, easy thing to try with HYDRA, where it'll try a null password. It'll try to log in with the username as a password, and then it'll try to log in with the username reversed as a password. So it's just a quick something to try. HYDRA al Alfredo -NSR, and we can try FTP. We can try FTP if we have the address. FTP://192.168.152.249. We'll let that run. And we can see 1 login, 3 passwords, 0 valid passwords found. We can try to brute force it with /p and rocku user share wordlist rocku.txt. So while this is running, okay, never mind. It magically ran through all, what is that? 14 million, all 14 million passwords. We don't have SSH on what? It has SSH on 25022. 25022. And again, it runs. Okay, so it's testing now. And while that's running, let's go back and take a look at this file upload. Let me copy that. Curl file upload. We need to switch this over to a post request. Message, no file in the request. Header of content type. Content type. You know what? Let's just go look it up. If we do this, but yeah, message no file part. This is that's gonna take forever. I'm gonna not brute force this and let's run down this path instead. So head over to Firefox and we'll search for curl post request. And we'll open some of these. What happened there? There are many ways to send data. We could really try any of these. We don't know what values it's looking for yet. We can assume that one of them is going to be file. We can try this. We can try form. We can try this type of request right here. The final bit is going to be just dash form. Okay. Post request, dash form. The final is going to be the web directory it was at, and then the path to file. No, it's not. It's just the file name. And additionally, let's touch test.text and then close that out. So at test.text, newly formatted input field. Form is badly used here. Oh. File equals. No file name in the request type. So we can come back in here. And if we look over here, if we look back over into this documentation, if we look back in the super user, Stack Overflow can exchange. It's showing that we can use a semicolon and then file name. And that's what this is asking for. So semicolon file name equals, and what did they say? So we can call it the desired file name. Because we want it to appear in this directory, we're going to do home alfredo.ssh with the hidden directory. File name home alfredo.ssh test.text. No file name part in the request. So we can try splitting this up. Dash form. Right. Form file name, file upload. File uploaded successfully. Which is a bit of form. It's pretty much like using this. I assume that it worked with this as well. If it works with data, it has to work with form, right? Each form part. If we come back over here into the file or refresh the page, we see our test.text, which is excellent. So So let's make some SSH keys. SSH keygen. This m underscore ID. M underscore RSA. Doesn't matter. Empty ls. Is it in here? It is. Okay. So let's try and upload those. We can upload file at mRSA. We'll upload this into mRSA. And we got lucky the first time that we went in central form because we ended up using the text file, but it only allows these formats. So what we can do is rename am.rsa to am_rsa.text. And then we can send it, and that way we get file upload successfully. If we check, we see it's in there. So now it's SSH, tac I, what did I call it again? am_rsa. Alfredo at 102.168.152.249. Ooh, and this is because we got a failure because we need that port 25022. 25022. SSH tac H. Is it not capital P? Lowercase p. Okay. Lowercase p for port. Uppercase p for tag. Yes, and it's asking for a password. Okay. We don't have to worry about that too much because what's in this directory? Because we can send the public key and we can set that into the authorized keys file. First, we're gonna have to rename this though. So let's move pub to am.text. And now let's move back up. Okay. .pub.text. And instead of mRSA, we're going to call it authorized keys. Get a file upload success. We validate that it's in here. Authorized keys. It is. And now let's SSH. And we're in. ID. We can already see the host name. Host name. If config. And we're in. Okay. So we've made our way in. Excellent. And I've documented absolutely none of this, which is fantastic. What you love to see. 21. Anonymous login. Uh, 25022 SSH. 33414. Web app. Workzeg. How do you spell that? There it is. Works at Python, and then the final one was 40080, right? 40080. It's Apache. And we didn't end up doing anything with 4080. And maybe we should have, but we tried to brute force with after we found our Alfredo user. We did try to brute the FTP and SSH. SSH was going to take hours, like 1,000 hours, 1,000 plus hours. So we're not too worried about that. Let's go ahead and take a picture of this help page. And add that into our notes. So there we go. We got the help. We need our barracks buster command. Keep track of that. Directory brute force. Bruh. Yes, okay. Excellent. So that led us to /help and /info, which led us here. And we were able to use this to exploit or to upload our own file into the directory traversal with file list or equals directory. And then ended up uploading a file to the file upload authorize public key to authorized keys. With /file upload and then our payload. Why is that not working? What's happening here? Is it that's causing a problem? Yeah. I don't know what that was doing, but it was doing something odd. Directory. That's fine. Excellent. Exit out of this real fast. I want to get my curl command. Copy, paste, and there we go. Curl x post form data and RSA form file. Should probably get a photo of the files we uploaded as well. Did I already do that? Probably not, but at least this allows us to see the Alfredo directory. Yeah, and there's our proof for that essentially. Proof. It's fine. All right, sudo tacl. Let's do some privilege escalation. It's asking for a password, and we don't know what that is. So at this step, we kind of want to go through our normal procedures one by one. I like to do a little bit of manual enumeration before I jump to something like linps. So let's just kind of look around ls. We can cat our local.txt file. Get that. Text. And then initial access. Clear, exit. I actually want my SSH command here. There we go. So again, if we sudo attack L, we have to have the password for that. In here we see cd REST API. ls, we can cat app.py. Maybe there are some credentials in here. It looks like the secret key is commented out, so that's not going to be our way forward. At main.py is just the web app itself. Yeah, 33 file types, all the error messages, everything like that. ls, cd, opt, ls, cd home, Alfredo, ls, no other users, at etc passwd. Let's grep that out. Grep sh. So root and Alfredo only. Okay. We can cat etc groups. If there's anything weird. Alfredo, that's interesting. Step user step dev c levis. Again, netstat ANO. And see if there are any other open ports that we could see from the inside but not the outside. 33414-25022. This is new. 5355. We'll check that out in a minute. 9090. TCP6. 5355. UDP. Here, ls. C and temp, ls. flask.tar.gz. Let's some other stuff. Let's check for sticky bits. Set UID bits. Find firm u equals s, type equals file, to dev null. There's that stap run again. That could be it. That could be our way forward. Hot pit session. Change. Most of these can be exploited if you have sudo. We can check cron tab. At etc cron tab. And we see a file. Let's see if we can read it. Cat the file. We can. Okay. So this is interesting. Let's go ahead and take some notes. Cat etc cron tab. Copy out our output. And that way we'll have that for our notes. And if we look at it, it's exporting the path to home Alfredo REST API, then to the path, moving into the directory, and it's running tar to back everything up that's in the backup everything that's in the REST API directory. Something that they've locate. Oh God. So this is something they didn't do. They didn't set the full path on tar, which means that anything inside of this REST API, any file named tar in this REST API directory will be run. Additionally, we could set something called like CZF. I want to say. I think so. I think for every one of these, except for this one, since it's a full path. No, maybe not. It may not get past tar at that point. I think it's essentially it's going to look for a file called tar in this directory first, and then it's going to go check its path and you know end up running user bin tar. So let's do that. CD into home Alfredo REST API. And I'm going to opt in for setting the SUID bit on bash because it's just really easy. Granted, do we know who's running it? At Etsy cron tab. It's root. Okay, so root is running this. So as long as this works, as long as this works, we will end up as root, or we'll end up being able to run in the context of root. So let's go ahead and we can nano, vim, touch, echo, whatever. But I'm gonna use nano. So let's nano tar and in bash. Yeah, chmod u plus s in bash xy enter. If we ls in bash, we see currently the set UID bit is not set. Let's allow tar to be executable, and now it's a waiting game. And it's already completed. So now we can see that the set UID bit is set. So if we do bin bash tac p, and if you're wondering where that comes from, the bin bash /p, if we look at GTF opens, yeah, bash SUID bit. So if we have the SUID bit set, if the binary has a SUID bit set, it doesn't drop the elevated privileges and may be abused to access the file system, escalate, or maintain privileges. Access as a set UID backdoor. You can run shell p, omit the type p argument on the system like Debian to allow the default shell to run with the suited privileges. So we're just going to do bash -p. So bin bash -p. And if we look at our ID, our EU ID is set to root. So if we go into the root directory, we should be able to read the proof.txt. And we do. We can. So we ended up escalating our privileges by exploiting a cron job that's running, and also they didn't have the full path set in their script to the tar file. So if they were going to end up doing this, they should have set the full path. Do we have? They should have set the full path on tar, but just to double check, ls tac la. I just want to see. Okay, I was wondering if maybe we could edit it. The answer to that is no. It's owned by root, and we don't have. It's not writable, so we couldn't have edited it. So if they had done the entire path, for tar, the tar file, then we wouldn't have been able to exploit this. That would have prevented us from moving forward, and then we would have to start looking at other things, maybe uploading linps, maybe looking at kernel exploits. I don't know. Could have been anything else really. Maybe there were like credentials in a file, but allowed to say that that's Amaterasu, and hope that you learned something. If you didn't, if you did learn something, let me know. If you didn't, let me know that too. Whatever, dude. Anyway, I had a lot of fun, and clearly this wasn't the first time that I'd gone through this. I ended up going through this earlier today, and it did take me quite a bit longer, specifically this part. I kept trying to do like headers, like -h content type, multiform content, -d for data, and like trying to do stuff that way. Ultimately, I ended up finding that article that we used, and with some finagling, I realized I could just split these two fields up and run it. And as you saw, like it kind of told us what it was looking for. It was looking for a value called file. It was looking for a value called file name. It required a form or a post request. It required a multi-form. So this is where I struggle the most at this point, and it probably took me a good hour. I know that sounds kind of ridiculous time frame, but I was trying to do these other things as well, like specifically brute forcing SSH for some reason, SSH and FTP. I got really stuck here on FTP. I was like, how very confusing. Anonymous login is enabled. Nothing's in there. It sets its passive. We can't do anything. Luckily, ended up finding these directories before I moved on to the port 40,000. If this were a real pen test, I would have gone back and checked 40,000 as well after the fact, after exploitation, just to make sure that the client was getting the full benefit of the pen tests, right? We want to make sure that we find all of their holes. And then as our elevated user, I would have spent more time in here. More like, looking for alternative routes. To escalate privileges, just because. So in this case, I think we could just chmod u -s bin bash ls-la bin bash. Nope. Anyway, hope you had a good time. Hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. This was a great box. Fun, good time learning. Obviously, at this point, we would want to go ahead and remove the set UID bit from our bash file, just to kind of set the environment back to how it was, notify the client, and move forward. We kind of have part of our report written here. Escalation, one path to escalation, one path to root. So hope you have a good day. Hope that you learned something wherever you are, and see you in the next one.